Hey, Randall, is this better?
A lot better. A lot better.
Okay,
Yeah, my phone was malfunctioning. I do apologize.
that's okay. No worries. But Brett is in the waiting room, so I'm gonna go ahead and let him in if you're ready to go.
I'm ready to go.
All right, let's do it.
All right.
I'm letting him in now.
All right. Thank you.
Hi, Brett. Oh, you're on mute. Happens to me
I
all the
thought
time.
I clicked off. Sorry. How are you today?
Good. How are you?
Doing well. Doing well. Sorry, guys. I don't know about when everyone joined in, but I was just in another call I
No,
was listening in on and just got here. So
you're totally fine. Randall had to restart his phone anyways. His volume was not wanting to be on his side today.
Yes, indeed.
But thanks for joining. And happy almost long weekend for you,
yeah,
Brett.
maybe I work for
Maybe.
Stellantis. They don't ever
Well,
shut. Well, I mean, I work for Ryder, but I work for Stellantis customers, so they never shut down.
okay. Well, hopefully at least it's a slower day for you and you have some fun 4th of July plans, both of you.
I do.
But I'm excited for you to talk to Randell. Randell, I'm excited for you to talk to Brett as well. So I will just go ahead and let you guys take it away. And then, Brett, if you have a couple minutes after just to stay on for some feedback and all of that, that would be great. Okay.
Not a problem.
All
Not a
right.
problem at all. I am
Good
going to
luck, Randall.
preface this. Yeah, and just kind of let you guys know. I have some work happening in my basement off to the side. So some people coming up and out. So if you hear some stuff in the background, my apologies. And I also have a dog. And if she hears that, you might hear a bark. So it's the new age of working from home that we got to kind of deal with. So
Oh yeah, it'll just make the call that much more exciting,
hey, yeah,
you know?
yeah. Believe me,
All
you're
right.
going to need it talking to me. So
All right.
first things
Good luck.
first. I kind of like to go out in the way of just kind of explaining what we do, right? How we do it and everything. I'll give you a couple of little things, and then I'll turn it over to you. So I'm going to take a minute or two and let you know. Obviously, my name's Brett. I've worked with Ryder for 14 years as of last month. I came in through a temp agency. I had no experience. I just wanted to work in logistics and do something different than what I was doing. And I came here, I worked hard, and I was dedicated, and I kind of moved up through the ranks. And now I get to be an account manager, and I get to interview fantastic people such as yourself and just see how well they fit with our team. Okay. I started out working in what we call our OMC, and that was all like automotive suppliers, tier ones and tier twos, and doing expedited material to the OEMs so that they could go take material direct to the production plant. So from day one, expedited material, kind of stressful type of stuff. But I learned how to do that, and then moved over to some more static type of accounts, and just gathered some knowledge. Then I learned some other things, bounced around, moved a bunch of different accounts here at Ryder. We do a lot of things such as consumer packaged goods. Like we move toilet paper, we move deodorant, we move batteries. We also do train engines. We also do Harley Davidson motorcycles. And what my team does is a little different than that. Okay. So what we do, Randell, is we work directly for the Stellantis customer. Okay. And I reviewed a little bit of your resume I have over here. So if you see me looking to the side, I got 3 screens, and I'll get to that in a little bit. I've got some notes and other things. But I saw that you worked for Ty Summit, and Ty Summit works with Stellantis, and we work very close with them. So kind of a reason why I wanted to talk with you today, because we don't do anything really logistics level, right? We're specifically to material follow-up. So what we do is they utilize a system called PC Portal. I don't know if you ever worked in it, but essentially the plants put in a ticket, and that goes to the supplier, and it tells the supplier we need material. That ticket comes over to my team. We review it, and then we see when that material is truly needed. We reach out to the supplier and say, I need this amount of parts by this time. What can you do? Right. And then we work back and forth, and then the supplier themselves sets up the shipping, and they load the trucks and they move it along. And that's kind of where the logistics portion takes over. So we have, another 120 or 130 other people on the US team that we have here, because we also have a sister team in Mexico that does the same role, that all report up through our senior director, right? But everybody else does logistics. They track trucks, they make sure things pick up and deliver on time. We manage suppliers. We make sure that they make material. We make sure that they have racks to move their material, right? So, I've been doing that for August, September-ish will be about 4 years that I've been doing that, just specifically for this account. We're currently going through a contract negotiation with them. Okay. So this is where I'm going to move into specific things for you. The reason that that's important is because what we're looking for is a shift out of somebody that would be like a Monday through Friday. It's a 9-hour shift. You would work 8 hours and get an hour for lunch, right? And it would start at either 9, 10, or like 11 a.m. and move into the day or later into the night, right? So if you start at 9, you're done at 6, 10, 7, 11, you'll be done at like 8 p.m. Okay. I'm going to preface and say that that's what we're looking for now, but for us, shifts are not static. We do have some people that have been here for 4 years, and we do require personnel to be here at certain times and everything. But even those people, they might have to move their schedule based on what's happening with this contract. Okay. What that means is we're not just looking to extend our contract with the customer. They've offered us another piece of business, or a larger piece of the business. So what we do is we bring people in and we put them where we think we need them. So if I say, hey, sir, we need you to start at 9 a.m. and work till 6, but in 2 months we realize that doesn't work and we need you to move a little bit later, we might ask for that. It doesn't necessarily mean that I'm saying, hey, we asked you to start at 9 a.m., but you're going to midnights. That's not really what we're talking about here, right? It wouldn't be that way, but we do want to be clear and state that we're learning what they're offering us. And with that, we would need people who are flexible along with that to ensure that the product to the customer is exactly what we're, what we promised would be provided to them. Okay.
Okay.
So with that, we would also be working 3 days a week in the office. We work every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday in the office, no matter what. With that being said, it's a Thursday. You're looking at me going, Brett, that's a pretty cool office. No, sorry. This is my kitchen. My desk is downstairs. We occasionally work from home on holiday weeks or something along those lines. It's up to our manager to allow us to do that. And sometimes she gives us the day before a holiday or something like that so that we don't have to drive. But if we do obtain this new piece of business and we grow this business, there is a chance that they would ask us to be in the office 5 days a week to train and learn this new piece for a short period of time, for maybe 3 to 6 weeks or something, so that they're going to bring their people in and work with us to ensure that we're understanding of what they need. Okay. So before I kind of kick it over to you, anything specific that I brought up that doesn't sound like it would be good for you or something that you wouldn't be able to make happen?
Oh, no, not at all. Not at all.
Okay, fantastic. So with that, I'm going to kind of do the little piece where, now that I've told you what it is that we do, a little bit about what I've done, why don't you tell me a little bit about yourself that I can't see in your resume? Give me a little bit of background on you.
Yes. So, played football all through high school and college, full scholarship at Ball State and full scholarship at Howard University. So I was a student as well as an athlete. Briefly served in the Michigan Army National Guard after college, which is not on my resume, but that gave me the opportunity to get my second security clearance as a chemical process engineer technician in 2018 with the EPA as U.S. Ecology. Also, I went to Wayne State for electrical engineering for a second bachelor's degree for a few years, but I didn't finish that. But that got me to be a chemical process engineer technician. Did graduate from Howard. Other than that, that's not on my resume. I would definitely say my first 2 years of corporate experience, pretty much contract support accounting, then went into international trade with Livingston, then supply chain logistics, and pretty much within that realm the last 4 or 5 years.
Okay, fantastic. And again, when I tell you that we don't really have a big piece of logistics in there, understand that logistics background is a big thing for us, because if you've ever worked for a giant automotive company like this, we might have what we call our scope, right? It's right in this box.
Mhm.
and 96% of the time we live there, but 4% of the time the plant's going to shut down and they ask us to do something. And that's where logistical knowledge would come into play, right?
Yeah, and I would definitely say when it comes, I've done hands-on supply chain, but supply chain management, quality control with materials, definitely my role at General Chemical Corporation as a supply chain manager, but also the recent role with Thai Summit. That's everything from forecasting with materials, ordering materials, purchase orders, as a material requirements planning, but also production control, putting in production of those materials. But it was a pilot program for Stellantis. So since it was a pilot program, we weren't functionally running like, a consistent flow of work every single day. Since the material was pretty much the coverings of aluminum and steel plates for their EV vehicles and hybrids with the 3M kind of foam material from Germany. So dealing with the forecast of getting materials where, yes, nuts, bolts, rivets, you can get some of those within 2 to 3 weeks. But with other suppliers, when it came to the 3M material from Germany, it was made on hand or upon request. So that being said, it could take 2 months for production, but then also to come through ocean, it takes another 3 months. So planning on, even though we wanted that material and we were a pilot program, 2 barrels was 100 grand. And we will bleed through that material. So it's a cost faction as well, a cost factor with how much we can order, but at the same time, when we'd be in full production to have all that material.
Yeah. Okay, so with that, did you ever work directly with Stellantis and go into any of their systems or anything, or
That
did
is
you just kind of?
that is correct. I did work directly with Stellantis. So I had one person hired to me, which is my manager, but we were pretty much in charge of everything at that new facility in Harper Woods. So Thai Summit is in Howell. I was going back and forth to Howell, but also I was going out to Stellantis out in Chrysler Drive out in Auburn Hills. So I dealt with their e-supplier system. So I actually was in charge of or responsible for their violations. Any violations, I had to put out the fires pretty much and solve the problem. And that's pretty much e-supplier violations dealt with anything that material didn't come on time. If material didn't come on time, other prototypes, those problems had to be resolved through their e-supplier system for violations. Also, dealing with the racks, I dealt with the rack codes within their system. It's just like MGO with General Motors. So
you talk about their Blue Zone system?
Exactly.
It works like DOS.
Yes. So that pertained to the racks for the material, but we weren't in full production, so we didn't have to consistently go into that system at that time period. Yeah. But I have extensive experience, same system with MGO with General Motors when I was at Renaissance Global, because I had to put all the ASNs in their system for the battery cells going to Mexico.
Okay, so from a supplier standpoint, you've input ASNs, and then if there was ever any troubleshooting, if it didn't go through, they'd come back to you and tell you. So you'd have to go in the raw data and
I was 100%. I was 100% responsible. So definitely at Renaissance Global, all the ASNs I dealt with an MGO system, but also Oracle and JD Edwards for their system for tracking of data for anything we received or shipped out of the different part numbers for those battery cells, as well as rims and a few other auto parts we held at that facility.
Gotcha. Because that's something specifically with what we'll do here when and I'm just going to use the term ticket, right? A ticket comes in, they need a part number. We ask the supplier to ship the part number. Once they ship the part number, they enter the ASN. Once the ASN is submitted, everybody can see what is moving, 40 of this part or whatever it is, right? So when I say everybody, I mean anybody that clicks into the system where they track. You're saying e-supplier, and I'm not 100% familiar with everything in e-supplier.
Yeah, that's
but
a little
what it is.
Yeah.
But we use what they call PC Portal, right? So we go in there and you can see the ASN. The plants can see it. The people at Chrysler Drive can see it. I can see it. And at that moment, that's when we know things are there. We occasionally have issues where an ASN doesn't flow through and somebody says, I sent it. And we've got to kind of work with the suppliers to make sure that they do that. So that's a good piece of knowledge to have if you're familiar with that.
And also, we dealt with at Thai Summit. That's a Plex system. So the Plex system, the manufacturing smart system, that was their system on their end, but each supplier was for Stellantis.
Mhm.
Besides their kind of
Yeah.
smart system,
Yeah.
I would definitely say though, with putting in ASNs and any type of material or part numbers into their systems, I would never put those in. Say like with General Motors, I would never put that in until 5 minutes once that shipment is gone and out of there. So
Yeah.
any type of incorrection, you can't correct it on there. It's a huge problem if you put any type of mistake in there.
Oh yeah. Familiar. Very. Um, so with that, like I'm not trying to sugarcoat anything. We work with Stellantis. They're a big company, right?
Mhm.
And they've got processes and they've got what's the word I'm looking for? Unions. Sorry, unions, right? So we work with the plants. The plants are all unions. That means that every day you can come in and you'll have a role and things that we need you to do. Okay. I alluded to you and told you I'd tell you about these three screens. Big thing for us is number one, you're going to have three screens yourself. The idea is that you're going to have emails that come in on multiple email boxes. You're going to have the system that's over here, and over here I have the teams so that I can talk to people, right? That are on my team. And then you also have like a headset, and we have phones that come through here. So we'll be dealing with emails, we'll be dealing with phones, and we'll be bouncing around, right? Is that something that you've done or something you feel confident that you can do?
I dealt with the three screen system and the phone system at four different companies, but I would definitely put an importance on my role at Ascent Global Logistics at Willow Run Airport. In that role, you're pretty much the whole summary of that role was that you're booking pickup carriers from the supplier in one state or Mexico
Mhm.
or Canada. You're booking the aircrafts, and then you're also booking the delivery carrier in another state or Mexico or Canada, and all within an 8 to 10 minute time frame for that itinerary
Mhm.
to get that, whether one, two, three pallets to that facility where their plant doesn't shut down, whether it's the big three, whether it's Boeing, John Deere, etc. But you're also on the phone system. So the phone system was a 5-9 system that we had to be logged in pretty much 90% of our shift. So you're answering calls while you're doing all your role responsibilities, plus you're answering probably 50 to 60
Yeah.
emails per day. The Microsoft team meetings wasn't as um, consistent. Like, you had the regular meetings sometimes during the week, but other than that, the whole summary of that role was all intertwined into one.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, ultimately, what we would do is you wouldn't be on tons of teams meetings, right? That would be more something like me if we ever get to that point. But the idea is that, excuse me, an issue would come through to an email. You would look at it, and it might say, "Hey, Ty Summit says their press is down, or they're out of racks, or whatever it is, and they're not going to be able to produce."
Mhm.
And then you run what we call need time. You'd figure it out and go, "Oh wow, they're going to be out of material in 4 hours." You would come to me and say, "Hey, Brett, we have a serious issue, right?" And then you've kind of put it onto my plate. I'm going to go and handle the serious issue. I need you to keep an eye on the third, because at any point in time, you could have maybe 30 tickets on your, we call it like a deck. So
Mhm.
there's 30 parts that are being requested by the plant. That doesn't mean that all 30 are within 4 hours, right?
Mhm.
Because as you were saying earlier, some of them might be coming from Mexico. They might be 10, 12 days out. So there's different levels of what you're doing. But the idea is you look at it, you analyze it, see what's needed, action what you can, then move it forward. And the idea is that, hey, you're going to have phone calls coming at the same time as emails. So we just want to make sure that you can handle it, right?
Mhm.
And that's my first kind of like precursor or segue into the fact that Stellantis is a very large company. They have unions and they don't have another customer. Okay. Whereas every other customer or account that we usually work on, right? We have a supplier that supplies something to here, to here, to here, and then they have something. They answer to no one. They build their material. And then when they build it, it goes out and they sell it. But once they've built it, that's it. There's nothing past it. Their unions have rules. So what type of mindset and attitude do you bring to the table when it comes to a situation of doing something that maybe you don't agree with and understand that you can't change? And I'm asking that because the plants have done things for 32 years, and I'm just throwing an arbitrary number out there, but for a long time. And you come in and you go, wow, it would be really cool if they did this, and it would help me out if they did this, but they're not going to because it's not good for them or whatever it is. And you have to come in every day and do that even though it's frustrating, right?
Mhm.
Like, how would you handle that?
I've worked in team environments, hands-on as actually a production worker. So definitely, my role as a chemical process engineer technician, I was in the Teamsters union at that time period. So we had out of all their facilities out of the whole country, only that facility downtown Frederick Street had the union, and it was only probably 8 of us that was in that union. So even though we had to answer to management, answer to different type of protocols of different facilities within that facility. Say if you're set in your ways of, say, we had our daily procedures and
Mm-hmm.
processes of what we need to do. But if something comes out the woodworks where, okay, another department says we need this job done a different way or a specific way, even though we may say, okay, our set procedures are set for the safety or what we believe is the right process of doing things, if upper management or upper chain say, hey, this needs to change no matter what, et cetera, we took it as it is. And as long as there was no hiccups, no problems, we had to, uh, respect the upper management, upper chains of command and let it flow and just go with the process.
Okay, yeah. I just asked because we've been doing this for 4 years, and whenever you put a new mindset or a new eye on something, you can find it, right? If I leave and somebody comes in and does my job tomorrow, they're going to see something differently than I've seen it because I've been doing it for 4 years, and maybe sometimes you get tunnel vision, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, the plants are super tunnel vision and they do it a certain way, and we try to offer better ways for them. And when we say better ways for them, meaning more efficient, less work for us, less work for them. Sometimes they see it, sometimes they don't. And it can be pretty frustrating at times, especially when you're the one being asked to handle the stress of stopping a plant from shutting down, reaching out to the supplier, and handling things away. So basically, what it is being told. Right. What would happen is you'll be told how to do things from multiple directions. The plant will tell you one thing. We will have a process, and we need to ensure that between how our process is and what their needs are, we kind of do it. So it can be a frustrating thing, and we just want to make sure that you're aware of, kind of what you would be walking into.
And I wanted to add 2 more things to that as well. One, I had to learn new systems where it was kind of like trial by fire for a lot of those corporations, whether you're learning the Blue Jay system, learning Plex, learning Oracle, learning Sage. But I'm an Oracle as well as written learner. So I would have like 80 to 100 pages of notes within 2 weeks to study the systems and get it down packed for myself. On top of that, my recent role with Thai Summit, that was sort of a trial by fire as well. It was more so, yes, my manager, like I was kind of like a sub manager. So my manager would just say, hey, will give me little directives, like say, I need this, I need that. I have to figure out the processes of getting that done. So it was kind of like, yes, we're a pilot program, but also we're setting up everything from scratch, even though we had the kind of engineers setting up the robotics. Everything else, the whole facility, we're doing from scratch. So that was a whole new learning process for me as well.
Fantastic. Just going to take a quick look at my notes here, make sure I didn't miss anything. I think I've kind of went over everything that I had questions for. I know we're getting close to the end, so I always like to leave it open for the last like 5 or 6 minutes to see if you have any questions for me that I didn't answer for you already.
I know you're saying that you gave a lot of detail the first 6 or 7 minutes. Most interviews, they don't give as much details. So you gave a lot of insight and details the first 6 or 7 minutes. I definitely understand the role of the job as well as the nature and the background. So I had a kind of a gist of the company already, but there are certain things I didn't know that you made me aware of. So yes. No questions.
Okay, perfect. Lauren, from your end, is there anything that Randell and I didn't touch on that you normally have people go over?
So. I think you, like Randell said, you covered a lot, and I feel like gave a lot of good insight on kind of your area of the business. So thank you for going so in depth on that.
Perfect.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, if that's it, Randell, thank you so much. It was great seeing you again. I'm glad that we could get you hooked up with this interview after Jessica spoke so highly about you. And so we're glad that we could get you connected. But I'll stay on and get some feedback from Brett, and then we'll reach out for next steps. Okay.
Okay. Thank you for your time today again. I really appreciate it.
Not a problem. Enjoy your holiday weekend.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes.
Bye.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Randell.
Bye.